Hey guys, welcome to the Better Than Yesterday podcast. Oliver Saunders here with my boy Adam Churchman. Today we are going to talk about the very, very important episode of Life is a Balance, all about not doing too much of anything. You want to break down a little bit more for him, my man?
This one is something that I'm excited about talking with you about
Yeah.
because it's something that I've always struggled. I don't know if it's like maybe it's whether it's I was an addict for a little while,
Yeah.
whether it was from like I go to extremes, right? I
Yeah.
think some of it has helped me helped me out.
Yeah.
My dad always said I was never good about finding balance. I've gotten better.
Yeah.
But this is a thing that I think is essential to creating a healthy life.
For sure.
Right? I know there's a lot of people out there that's like, well, if you want to be super successful, you have to be all in. And I fully agree with that.
I agree with that too.
But I think you need to be able to shift with the ebbs and flows of life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think balance, if you're an unbalanced person, one area, if you're all in on your career right now, cool.
You're lacking in
But how are
other
your
areas.
relationships doing, right? And
You're
so-
lacking in other areas. I personally, I know that we're already successful. We're going to be even more successful, which is a great thing and a blessing and everything like that. But I would not consider myself personally as successful if I had millions, multi-millions in the bank account, but I didn't have a relationship with my family
Right.
to the extent that I personally think. You know what I mean? And so I've been very fortunate. I've grown up with, my mom does very well. I grew up with a bunch of kids who, will never have to probably work a day in their life. You know what I mean? But some of them don't have relationships with their parents. They were raised by their nannies. Their parents were always
Right.
on vacation. Da da da. I also have friends who don't come from money, but have a very strong relationship with their family. I remember I have a homie, and I'm not going to say any names or whatever, but I remember we were growing up. He used to get $5,000 a month in allowance, right? And I never saw him take out a trash can, nothing like that. But that was just the deal. You know what I mean?
It wasn't for chores?
But that was just the deal that they had with his family, right? And it was cool. It was cool and it was great. And it was a crazy thing to see, but it also made me look at life differently because I was seeing my boy who was getting all this money monthly. When you're in high school, bro, what are you spending $5,000 a month on?
Dude,
You're living at your parents' house. You
I
don't
used
have
to
rent.
I used to get my mom
Yeah.
to make extra sandwiches,
Yeah.
and I would sell them so that I could buy a
Right,
joint.
right. Do you feel me? You
Like
feel me?
$5
Do you-
per sandwich?
Do you feel me though? Do you feel me? But I remember, bro. One of the craziest things was I remember a few nights when we got a little bit turned up or whatever, and he would be like, and at the end of the night we'd just be sitting there shooting the shit, and he'd be like, bro, to be real, he'd be like, I'd give up all this money if I could just kick it with my dad like every weekend. You know what I mean? And he'd be like, bro, like I don't like. He's like, yeah, like it's nice, like having shit or whatever. And he's like, I would really rather just spend time with my pops. You know what I mean? And so, and like you said, like everybody's thought of success, everybody's what they want to do in life is different, and that's what makes the world go round, and that's a beautiful thing. I personally see success as my family doing well, my family thriving, businesses thriving, my business partner and our relationship thriving and stuff like that. And so that's another thing that comes to balance. You know what I mean?
So, how do you like? I mean, you're a busy guy. Like your house is busy, your life is busy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how do you like? Maybe there's people out there listening, and be like, yeah, easy for you guys to say.
Yeah.
Look at you just sitting here talking.
Right.
But like, I mean, when I look at your life, you're hitting the gym, you're raising kids, you've got a career, we're building a business.
Yep.
How do you what do you do to make sure that your life is operating with a healthy balance?
And you know what? So this is also a thing. This is also a thing that I learned when I was younger. That a devil's playground is an idle mind. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah.
So also this is a habit that I sort of learned while I was trying to keep myself out of trouble and stuff. The more busy that I am, the more less time that I have to do stupid stuff. You know what I
idle
mean?
hands, yeah.
When I was in my addiction, when I was coming out of my addiction, if I had any free time, I could fuck something up. You know what I mean? I could fuck something up. You give me a minute, you give me an hour, it didn't matter. Like, you know what I mean?
I found it.
Yeah. I could find that little pocket and fuck it up. You know what I mean? And so at first I would just keep myself busy just so I didn't have that time.
Right.
As time went on and I started building habits and I started having more confidence in myself and the things that I was doing, I just started to fill that time with different things. And then life be life. And you know what I mean? I got a 7-month-old. I have a 5.5-year-old. I have 2 bonus kids. Like you said, the gym, work, new career, everything like that. And I mean, one, I gotta make it work. You know what I mean?
True.
2, it also makes me happy to see these things. You know what I mean? I remember one time we were sitting in my backyard and it was me, my mom, my little brother, my mom, my little brother, my son, my dog, and we're all in the backyard just chilling. And I was looking from in my kitchen into the backyard and I was like, what a trip. Like, I never thought, I had never seen myself having my own house. I never seen my mom staying with me, my brother staying with me, my mom having confidence that she could leave my brothers with me, she could leave my son with me and know that they're safe and everything like that. And so I think that also just seeing the way that everything is working, even when I'm tired, I'm like, you know what? It's so worth it, you know? And also being the man of the house, you know, it's just in me to provide. I want to provide the best for my family. I want to provide the best for everybody that I love. You know what I mean? Everybody that I love. So yeah, there's days where it's easier and there's days that it's not. You know what I mean? But I just keep reminding myself of the big picture and my kids thriving, being happy, them looking back in life and being like, telling their kids, oh, we created these memories, we remember these things. You know, in 10 days, me and my dad are flying my son to New York for the first time. You know, he loves the Empire State Building, Statue of Liberty, Bronx Zoo. We're gonna take him to see all those things. And so yeah, there's days where like I'm at work and I'm like, man, I'm tired. I'm going through it. But then I think I'm like, man, in 10 days I'm about to take my son to do something that he's never done, that he's gonna remember for the rest of his life.
So your balance is you work hard, but the benefit of that is the relationships and the memories that you're building with your family.
I would have to say absolutely. So yeah. So I would say that the way that I sort of look at it when things get rough is the payoff. But you know what? And it's funny because you really can't do too much of anything without it becoming detrimental.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't want to party too much or chill too much because then you're not working. You're not getting things done.
Right.
You don't want to just go get things done because then you're not enjoying yourself. It's like, how are you going to work all this time but not enjoy your life as well?
Right.
Like that's a huge
like I hear people that I'll sleep when I'm dead. I'm like, that sucks.
Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? And I understand grinding hard. I understand work ethic. I understand going for it all in. But you also deserve time to be like, yo, you know what? I'm proud of myself for doing what I did. I'm proud of myself for accomplishing this.
Yeah.
I want to spend some time with my family. I just want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think that's a thing that I just sort of constantly remind myself. When you're feeling, do you ever feel like you're in those moments where you're like, okay, I'm going to one extreme or not at all? Do you ever catch yourself and you're like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I've gotten better at it as I've gotten older. When I was younger, I don't think I had that switch off thing, but I've created, you know, and it's something that I do with my coaching with clients and stuff.
Yeah.
I've created like a pretty structured routine life that includes time for all of those things that I value. Right. So like, you know, for example, I schedule my gym every day. You know, we schedule our connects every week. We connect pretty much the same time all the time.
Every
right?
time,
like,
every week.
So like, so the things that I listen, everybody who's listening, if you ask them, they'll all probably say, I'm busy.
Right.
Almost all of us are busy.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And so like, if you're not intentional about building your life, you're going, I think, finding balance is going to be really difficult because you're just like blowing in the wind, right? And so if things are getting hectic in one place, you're putting all your energy in, you're not being intentional about making sure you're managing all the relationships and the things that you need, then Yeah, you're going to end up burnt out. So for me, like, I'm a big scheduler. One of the things I do with my clients is I'm like, okay, you want to hit the gym more?
Yeah.
Okay. So for the first 2 weeks after I meet with one, I'm like, okay, I give them this like schedule.
Yeah.
Write down everything you do in a day, and like every hour of the day.
Yeah.
And it's not like a judgment thing. I'm not judging
Right.
you, but it's like, I want to see what you do for, how am I going to help you fit these things in that you're saying is an important thing?
Right.
If I don't know how you're spending your time.
You're spending your time.
Right? So they do that.
Yep.
And then I'm saying, okay, so I see every evening from 5:30 until 11 o'clock, you have watching TV.
Right.
Do you think
you could take
that
an hour?
You could take an hour and do a workout? If you've already said you find value in that, I do the same thing with relationships, right?
Yeah.
If you think that, hey, I really need to put more energy into making sure my wife knows that I really care about her. Okay, so I also see that maybe how about on Wednesday, you're able to be like, Wednesdays are date night, or Wednesdays are the night that I make dinner.
Right.
Do you think that that's a manageable first step?
Right.
You've already said you want to. So for me, finding balance is about being intentional.
Yes.
And about what do you care about and how do you make the time to actually commit to it.
I completely agree. The reason why I grabbed my phone is because I saw this the other day, and it's hilarious because it says, I don't have time. There are 168 hours in a week, right? There's 40 hours for work, 56 hours for sleep, 7 hours for training, 20 hours for family. You still have 45 hours left.
Yeah.
Don't tell me you don't have time to do what you need to do.
That's a lot of Law and Order marathons.
and even though they're on, you know that they're
USA Network all the time.
Even though you know that they're on, you could be doing other things, and it's so funny because and this sort of brings me back when we were saying so. When I first started going to the gym, I was talking to the dude that started me off at the gym. And I remember saying, I was like, okay, so once I get to like a point of where I want my body to be, I'm like, I'm straight, right? Like, that's it. I'm good, right? And he's like, nah, bro. He's like, I go to the gym. He's like, I've gone to the gym 5 days a week for like the past 7-10 years or something like that. And I just remember being like, whoa, I thought that like I just got to like this.
And coast.
And then I'm just, and then just coast. You know what I mean? And it's funny because it's like that's really not the way that the things go. So it's funny because I remember the switch in my mentality once I started building the habit of going to the gym. At first, when I first thought about it, I was like, going every day? That sounds crazy. 5 days a week? That's crazy. And then I remember after I kept going and I made myself stop thinking about the time. I was like, just show up every day, just show up, just put in the work.
It's just what you do.
Right. And then before I knew about it, before I even thought about it, the next time I found myself thinking about it, I remember thinking, you only work out 1 hour out of the day. There's 24 hours out of the day. Like
you're mostly not working out.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Like you could go to the gym early, still go back home, go to sleep, wake up, still get the kids ready for school. You could do all that, what you need to do. You know what I mean? So it's also about just realizing and the fire in you, realizing what you think is important and how much you want to get that done.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You can balance out your life and still be a high producing individual, right? Like I think sometimes people use balance as an excuse to not like excel because they're like, oh, life is about balance. Adam, you're in the gym way too much. Oh, you're so restrictive with what you eat. Like life is about balance. Like,
right.
You're like,
don't use it as an excuse.
Yeah, it is. But you don't have any either.
Right,
because
right.
You're not balancing it out on the other end of the spectrum.
100%.
And I think like if I look at as my life has grown, how has balance changed? I look at it, and you were sort of talking about like when you first went to the gym, and he's like, no, dude, I'm doing this, like, I'm 10 years in the game now, and I'm doing this. And it's like, when you start to get good at things and start to fall in love with things, I heard a pastor actually one time talk about it with like playing the guitar. When you first started learning the guitar, you're like, if I could only play these songs, like I just want to play these 3 punk rock chords and whatever. Right. But then you get good at it. You're like, like there's people who are like really good at, I can learn these, I can do this. And I think the same is true in everything in life. When you start to put in the work of whether it's your gym, whether it's date nights with your wife, whether it's your job, you're going to start to see the progress.
Yeah.
You're going to fall in love with the results that you get.
Yeah.
And it's going to push you to keep wanting to do those things.
Right.
And so again, when we talk about balance, it sounds like we're like, you guys aren't talking about balance at all. You're go, go, go. It's like, yeah, but we are, because we're focusing in on all these different aspects of our lives intentionally.
Right.
And we're not saying life is about lazy.
Right.
We're saying life is about balance.
Right.
Go hard in all of the things that matter to you.
Right.
And watch how your life completely transforms.
Right. And then the last thing that like I want to say about balance too is like you said, go hard for your life, but you don't want to go so hard working that you don't even get to enjoy the benefits of it.
Right.
You work so hard that you work yourself so tired that when you come home, you don't even have time to kiss on your girl.
Right.
You don't even have time to play with your kids.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, that's where I'm saying that's where you have to work on that balance, because it's like you got to spread yourself around enough for everybody that's important to you, but you don't want to spread yourself too thin that you can't even get what you need done.
100%.
You know what I mean? So it's finding that
balance. Yeah, but it's 100% true, man. It's 100% true. And I think that if we can find that balance, I don't think that you will be able to say that your life's not rich. I just listened to a song today, and it was like, if I only had $5, but I was with you, like, I'm rich. And it's like, yeah, if you're a CEO and you come home and you're snapping at your wife, like,
yeah, is that what you want?
Like, that's what you're living your life.
You know what
for?
I mean? You get home, your kids don't even know. Your kids barely know you. You get home.
You don't know yourself.
Dinner's cold on the thing. Everybody's asleep, and you wake up and you leave before everybody wakes up too. Yeah. Is that what you want for your life? That's not how I want to look back and spend my time. Appreciate you guys checking out this episode of Better Than Yesterday podcast. More episodes to come. Keep that balance in your life. Keep staying motivated and get your goals, baby.
Leave a comment. Let us know, how do you guys find balance in your lives?
Yes, please.
I would love to learn from some of you guys, because I think that this is something that we all have our own little tips and tricks. So please comment, leave a comment for us. Let's engage and keep this conversation going.
Appreciate you guys. Better Than Yesterday.